It is time for NXT Stand and Deliver predictions. Welcome to a special episode of the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. Today, we are going to give you guys our predictions for NXT Stand and Deliver, which is coming to you live at 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, home of WrestleMania 41. As always, I am your host, Mike Savoletto with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by my co-host, Mr. Sean O'Neill, and we are going to give you guys our predictions for the card for Stand and Deliver. We got 7 matches on this card, 1 on the pre-show, and then 6 on the main card, and we are going to go up and down this card and give you guys our thoughts. And as always, please like and subscribe. We've got so much content coming for you guys this weekend with WrestleMania coming up. We're going to have our prediction video coming out tomorrow. We're going to review SmackDown. We're going to review the Hall of Fame. We're going to review this Stand and Deliver show. And obviously, we're going to give you a review on WrestleMania as well as the Raw after WrestleMania, where we hope to have a lot of fun debuts as well. So with that, let's get right into the content. And we actually got a pre-show match announced for this one kind of ahead of time, which is kind of cool. And it is a tag team #1 contenders match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, currently held by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. And it is the following: Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus the Meta Girls versus Fatal Influence versus Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. So I'll kick it over to you, Sean. Who do you have and why?
So first off, I'm kind of surprised that this got relegated to the pre-show. Most of those tag teams are pretty high-power tag teams. Um, and then keep in mind too, as an audience, comment on our videos. Let us know if you agree or disagree with what we're saying here. I know that some of my takes can be kind of controversial, so feel free to argue, call me stupid if you'd like, but definitely comment. So I think this whole Fatal 4-Way is just a way to get Roxanne Perez to the main roster with like an actual story. I do like that it was unsurprisingly kind of being Cora Jade ending up being her partner, going back to the fact that they were best friends and then they had to feud the way they did. I think that they made a fantastic tag team when they were together. They have 2 pretty complementary styles. I think they're the most likely to win this match. Um, Fatal Influence and like the Meta Girls and that are both real good tag teams, but I don't think that them competing against the main roster winners is going to go over well. And as much as I would like Tatum Paxley and Gigi to win, especially with their crossovers with TNA, I just don't see that happening with them.
So your final pick is?
Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think that Roxanne and Cora are, they're definitely the most over. Obviously, we spoke at great length about Roxanne Perez in our, our top women's video a few clips ago that we did, and like it's put up or shut up time for her, right? Like if they're gonna make her the big deal that she was at the Royal Rumble and the big deal that she was at Elimination Chamber, like we got to get her on the main roster. We got to get her either in a title match or winning a title or something. And I think all of the other girls, while they are some are more polished than others. Like I'm thinking of the Meta Girls specifically. Um, I really like them a lot, and they have a great look. They're a great tag team. I still kind of feel like all of these other teams are NXT teams, whereas Perez and Jade feel like they're main roster worthy. And I think that given that, I think that they make the most sense to win this match. So I too am going to go with Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade to win the #1 contenders match here. And we'll go on to challenge the tag team champions, which we'll give you guys our predictions for that when we do our WrestleMania one tomorrow. So we don't have the official order yet for the main card, but we're going to just go from top to bottom here. So starting first, we have a ladder match for the NXT Women's North American Championship, which, as you know, was vacated by Stephanie McCur when she became the double champion after defeating Julia. So this match is going to be Zarya versus Kalani Jordan versus Sol Ruka versus Izzy Dame versus Lola Vice versus Thea Hale. So I'm going to go first for this one. And I think for me, it's between two of them, but my head says it's got to be Zarya. And I think that the reason it's got to be Zarya is because the way they've been pushing her. They've been pushing her like she's just this badass killer, and she's got to win something. She came out and she interrupted Stephanie Vicker. She came out and interrupted Julia. You remember that one show where I think they debuted her and she came out twice, like during both title matches to kind of like lay her stake in the ground, if you will. And I just feel like it's got to be her. It's got to be her time. I was leaning a little bit towards Sol Ruka because they've really been pushing her a lot as well, and I really like her. She's got that, that gymnast thing going, and they've really been pushing her hard. But it's put up or shut up time for Zarya, so I'm gonna stamp it Zarya.
So I'm going along a similar vein. I think that there's only two people that could potentially win it, but I'm taking a completely different direction than you. The reason why I don't think Solaruka or Zarya are your choice is because they've been working them as a tag team lately, and I could see them wanting to keep them tagging together because they work pretty well together.
Mhm.
I think your two possible people are Lola Vice or Thea Hale.
Mhm.
Uh, they've both been real. They've been real high on both of them, and I mean Lola Vice has been getting a pretty big push lately in general, but Thea Hale and the return that she just made for the first time after Chase U broke up, they made her look like a beast in that match on Tuesday. And I mean, her energy, her technical skills in the ring, and she is just the most excitable little person, like little wrestler in the world. And I think that this is her shot to get a title and show that she can carry one. I mean, she had a couple opportunities where she went up against the main women's title holder and put on some fantastic matches. She faced, I think it was Lyra and a couple other people, and looked really good in losing efforts. I really think this is WWE's shot to see what she can do with the gold around her waist. So I'm calling it as Thea Hale winning the belt.
I like it. And guys, as we mentioned before at the start of the video, please add your comments below if you guys, disagree with us or if you guys, are going to agree with our picks. And if you guys want to play along as well. Actually, one of the things we're going to start with our WrestleMania predictions is season one of our predictions, where we're going to keep track from start of this WrestleMania all the way to next year's WrestleMania across every pay-per-view, WWE and AEW. And we're going to keep score. And at the end, one of us is going to win, the inaugural championship, if we will, whoever has the most points at the end of the first season. And we'll kind of pass that along from time to time. But we want you guys to interact with us as well and see if you guys can beat us, which you probably will, because usually, as you've seen with our AEW video, I suck at picks. So hopefully we'll get a little bit better at that. But moving on to our next match, we have the D'Angelo family of Tony D'Angelo, my man, with Stax Lorenzo, Luca Crucifino, and Adriana Rizzo versus Dark State. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Sean. Who do you have and why?
So, as much as I would like the D'Angelo family to win this, just because of how fantastic they are as a group, I don't know that Tony, Stacks, and Luca have a chance here. They really want to build Dark State as like this dominant faction. I mean, we still have yet to find out who's leading them, which is definitely going to be something we talk about later here. But I think that it would be a mistake for WWE to have Dark State lose already. Plus, I think they're sort of teasing a little bit of dissension in the D'Angelo family on Tuesday when they had the backstage brawl between what was billed as D'Angelo family and Dark State. It was Stacks leading it with Luca and a couple of the old guys from their mob family, and no sign of Tony D'Angelo until the very end when he had to come in and rescue them, basically. And after he did that, he basically gave Stacks a scolding for making decisions on his own. So I definitely think that you're going to see that played up during the match, that there's going to be a little bit of dissension there. And it very well might cost the D'Angelo family the match. But I can almost guarantee you that that Dark State emerges victorious here.
I have to agree with you, and I think it's for all of those same reasons. My bigger concern with this match, though, is I mean I love the D'Angelo family so much, and I mentioned before in one of our previous podcasts when we were talking about NXT, I am so terrified of them going to the main roster and just getting ruined because they are like they're one of the best things on NXT in my opinion. I love that group. I love that faction. I think they're a lot of fun. I think Tony is great and he's a surprisingly good wrestler. And like just the way that they do their promo segments and like the way they really play up the Italian family stereotype, it's just fantastic. It's so much fun. But to your point, I agree with you completely. I think, you Dark State is, it almost feels like their new attempt to like re-debut almost like a Nexus faction, if you will, right? And you can't mess that up again. So yeah, 1,000% Dark State. Dark State's gonna win this match. They have to. Um, Moving along, we will next have a match for the NXT Tag Team Championship between Nathan Frazier and Axiom or Vraxium versus Hank and Tank. Um, Sean, who do you have and why?
I think this is where Fraxium drops the belt. The belts, plural. I think that we've had plenty of like teases of them not being on the same page, and they've really been pushing this Hank and Tank story where they just kept losing and losing and losing. And for them to go through that tag team gauntlet match on Tuesday, winning each segment in a different, unique way, and finally getting on the winning track, I think that Hank and Tank is going to be the team that takes the belt off of them. The only concern I have with that is I don't know that whoever is your next NXT Tag Champion can carry the belts as well as Fraxium did. Every match that they've been in has been an absolute banger, and I don't know that there's anybody who can put on that consistent of matches.
Yeah. I think this is where I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think it's going to be for Axiom, and I have several reasons for saying this, but I think the biggest one was kind of the point that you made initially, right, where you were talking about how they like them carrying the belts, right? And like, well, I love Hank and Tank. I think that I think that they're a lot of fun. And your point about that gauntlet match too, like this is really their first like kind of big opportunity, right? Like at a tag championship, but I just don't know. I think Firaxium is just one of the best tag teams in the world right now. And like they put on these fantastic matches all the time. And it's like, what do you do with them after they're done with this incredible run? Like, are they ready to go to the main roster and be a thing on the main roster? Like, are we really ready to be done with that? I know that this is the biggest show of the year for NXT, but I mean, and maybe, maybe after WrestleMania it's a soft reset, and you very well could debut that tag team on Raw or SmackDown and have them just go straight after, insert them into that wonderful scene that we have going on SmackDown right now with all of those tag teams. Because boy, oh boy, would I love to see a match of them versus like the Motor City Machine Guns or the Street Profits. Like that would be a lot of fun. But I just don't think that they are ready yet. So I'm going to go with Fraxium to retain the NXT Tag Team Championships. Moving on to the next match, we are going to have a fun one here. But I think we're going to be on the same page. But we've got Ricky Saints versus Ethan Page for the NXT North American Championship. And I am going to go first for this one. I think that there's no way Ricky Saints loses. He just got the belt not that long ago, and I mean I love all ego Ethan Page. I think he's fantastic, and he did just have that fun match in was it TNA a couple was it like that their last big show. But Ricky Saints just won the belt. He's their next big thing. They're trying to push him like their next big thing. He's not in the big title picture yet for NXT, but I have a feeling he will be within the next 6 months. But it's way too early for him to lose the belt. And I don't think, I think this match will be awesome. It'll probably be low key one of the best matches of the show. But stamp it, Ricky Saints wins. It's too early for him to lose the belt.
I think that this match has the potential to be one of the best matches of the weekend. Both Ethan Page and Ricky Saints are incredibly well polished in the ring. As much, and I think I think I agree with you. And Ricky Saints retains for a lot of the same reasons. The uh, the fact that he just won the belt, this is his first defense of it. The only thing that I could see potentially swerving it here is if they turn this into like a back and forth between him and Ethan Page. where like back when Charlotte and Sasha kept passing the title back and forth. And with two wrestlers of that quality, I could see them using that to extend the story and like the legitimate beef between the two of them. But I think for this big show here, that absolute Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints, sorry, now that he's in WWE, absolutely retain.
Yeah. So we don't know yet what is going to be the main event for this show, but based on the advertisement and what I have behind my head here, I'm thinking it's going to be the Fatal Four Way for the NXT Women's Championship. So we're going to skip that one, and we're actually going to go to the triple threat match for the NXT Championship between champion Oba Femi versus Trick Williams and Javon Evans. So, Sean, who do you have for this match and why?
So this is a real tough one for me because there's a variety of things going on in this storyline that could impact it. I'm leaning towards Oba retaining. However, there is the fact that Dark State has been continuously interfering with this group of men. And I know that there's been a couple different rumors about who could be leading Dark State. I'm going to let you talk about one part of it. But part of me is thinking that there could be a swerve and that Javon Evans could be revealed as the leader of Dark State who help him win because they're all young guys. And like you said, they're a Nexus type faction. And who better to be leading a Nexus type faction than a young, hungry, extremely talented person like Javon Evans? That's the only way, though, that I think I see Oba not retaining is if Dark State helps somebody
So your final pick is
win. It's going to be Oba still.
okay. I'm going to have to agree with you as well. I think Oba is also going to retain. I don't think it is quite yet time for him to lose the belt, and I I'm really having a hard time with all of the rumors of Dark State being led by Trick Williams because it's kind of like been everywhere on X, right? Like that's all they're talking about is how everyone seems to think that it's Trick, but Trick is like just the most over baby face, right? And like what a swerve, what a swerve, no pun intended there. But what a swerve for them to like turn Trick into just this like, villainous guy who's leading this brand new faction like this. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. And I you hear the crowds, the whoop that Trick and everything else like that for every single time he comes out and he's just so over. And I also kind of think that Trick is very likely to get called up to the main roster very soon as well. And I don't think he's going to have another run with the belt. He's won it what, twice now? So like I don't think he wins it again. I think Oba retains and we live to see another challenger for Opa at the next NXT show. So stamp it, Opa Femi retains.
The only thing about Trick there though is that his titles reigns that he had were both like what a month long each. I mean, I would like to see him get a chance to actually run with the title for a longer amount of time. And just in regards to your rumors about him being in charge, real quick, the Javon Evans made a really interesting comment either this past week or the week before that Trick has basically turned into Carmelo Hayes, like
Mm,
attitude wise. So, I mean, that could end up playing into it as well. But I'm still going to stick with Oba.
yeah. Which leads us into the likely main event of the show, where we have a fatal four-way for the NXT Women's Championship, and this one's going to be awesome. We have Stephanie McCurr going in as the champion versus a returning Julia and Jordan Grace and Jada Parker. Oh boy, this one's going to be incredible. And I thought about this a lot, and it's between two people for me. And I'm going to give you my reasoning for both. I think it's either going to be Stephanie Vicker or Julia. And the reason I'm going with both of them for right now, and I'll give you my final prediction in a minute, I think that WWE made a huge mistake taking the belt off of Julia initially and the way they kind of played that whole thing out. And they never should have taken it off of her to begin with. She's the best female wrestler on the entire women's roster in NXT, and she's been presented as the face of that that division. And I really think that she should win it back. Everything in my heart says that she should win it back, but at the same time, I don't think you leave Stephanie Vicor with nothing, right? Because she relinquished her North American title, and you have her lose this one as well. So I just don't see it happening. But there's also a part of me that is like, well, every single belt is just going to get retained on this show, and there's not going to be any changes. So with that being said, it's going to be Julia is my final pick for this, and I think that Jada Parker is the one who takes the pin.
So that's a good segue for me here because I can the one guarantee I think that I can make is that Jada Parker is 100% the only person who is not going to have a chance to walk out with the belt. Um, as much as I want them to put the title on Julia right away after their mess up with everything they did storyline wise, I think this is their opportunity to put the belt on Jordynne Grace as a surprise for a short run because she's not going to be in NXT very long. Because you can keep both Julia and Stephanie in NXT longer because they have like those ready-made feuds. I think that this is the perfect time. Give Grace the belt, have her run with it for a couple months till roughly SummerSlam, and then drop it to either Stephanie or Julia. Um, they can have a feud for number one contendership and go from there. Because those, like I said in some of our other videos, Julia and Stephanie Vaquer are going to be intrinsically linked pretty much for their WWE careers. Came in at basically the same time. Their storylines are already basically interwoven. That it's going to be like how when Sasha and Charlotte went back and forth, doing everything they did in their storylines. I think that there's plenty of time down the road for them to be the champions. I think I'm going to put my prediction for the title change is going to be Jordynne Grace.
I have a feeling we're both going to be wrong here. I think Stephanie's going to retain, but I'm going with Julia. I have to. I have to go with Julia. She's awesome. She's my favorite woman, my favorite female wrestler on the NXT roster right now. I want her to win, and I'm going to be rooting for her to win. But yeah, I got to go with it. So that's our picks, guys, for NXT Stand and Deliver coming at you guys live on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Enjoy that show. It's going to be awesome. And, look forward to all of our other videos, as I mentioned, coming out. And if you guys agree with us or disagree with us, you're probably going to disagree with most of these picks, especially mine. Put them in the comments down below and let us know how you feel about it. And please, as always, like and subscribe and enable those notifications to, when all of our videos are going to come out because we're going to be coming out in bunches over the next couple of days. So thank you guys so much. And we look forward to talking to you soon.